Okay, the question when it comes to collecting mill surplus again is, are the prices coming down? Now, we've all watched videos where somebody goes to a gun show or shows you all the different prices that they're asking for guns. They're astronomical and they're out of touch. And everyone gets to complain and jump around, I'll never pay that for it, blah, 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 blah. My advice is, if you're going to stay in the collecting game, okay, know how it works all the way around. And also know when there's a bit of a downtime, which most people say, well, you know, there's some channels, stop paying the prices will come down. It kind of doesn't work in that simple of a frame of mind. In other words, if everyone stood together collectively and didn't pay the price would come down. Well, that's never going to happen. That's a very unrealistic view. What happens is, in the current state that things are, there's huge amount of uncertainty. The stock market's out of control. The gold and silver is fluctuating and going nuts. You know, stock market's unstable. Nobody really knows if the economy's going to collapse. And there are a lot of people, and that's another thing I hear, it's all the boomers' fault and all this other stuff because they gathered up all these guns and they won't sell them unless they get a high price. Well, people get old, people get sick, or people die, okay, and their collections end up on the market. Okay, and some people I know have collections that make mine look like something that'll fit in a 4-gun safe, all right? So yes, you got to know how to play the game. And what's happening now, and I'll make another video on commercially available guns, okay, that you can buy new. That's what I'm talking about when I mean commercial, the commercial market. You walk into a gun store and buy the damn thing brand new. These you are not buying brand new, okay, no matter how you get them, okay. The mill surplus guns, a lot of them, like these two finished guns, there's none of these coming into the country. So whatever's in here and whatever you're looking for, somebody, either a shop or an individual, has these. None of the big online wholesalers are bringing these things in at all, I believe. So first step, and I always advise people on what to do. And if you want to figure out how this all works, you get this book. You get it on Amazon, okay? It's just a value guide, all right? Military firearms, collector's price and reference guide. Now, I have number 6. This one here is the 8th edition, the 9th edition, and I have put in a pre-order from when it hits the stores here in August or something for edition number 9. Now, why do I have a whole collection of these old price guides? Well, it's pretty simple. We're going to take these two guns here. And it's black and white, shows the guns, explains a little bit about them, shows you, if you're lucky, they show a photograph of it. And then they tell you the price. Now, another reason why you want this is because this, if say I'm a dealer, say an estate comes up. A lot of times when somebody passes away and there's, say, like 100, 200 firearms, a whole bunch of old stuff and books, reloading gear and that. If you try to sell it, okay, to individuals, what they're going to do is they're going to come up and grab the 1 or 2 pieces they want or whatever. And most families that don't care, they just want money, are going to wait for an individual to show up. That individual is going to say, I will give you $15,000 for everything. I'll empty the building out. Or 20, okay? They're going to come in, they have the cash, I don't have, an extra 20K laying in the safe, to just walk up and make the deal. These people will do that, and there could be 50K worth of stuff there. All right? And that's usually what happens. So, you're one of these guys, you walk in, you lay out the money, you take it all. You take everything. So, how would you realize, now, most people own a gun store. Some of them really don't know a hell of a lot about older guns or something. Some do, some don't. But a vast majority of people, it's a business. They sell Glocks, SIGs, things like that. They get this stuff in. Unless it's a specialized dealer that looks around. There is one in Florida, and there's a couple guys that specialize and will go look for estates with large collections of mil surplus guns. There are some dealers that are specific, but a vast majority of them, okay, they don't know. So what do? They got this book right here, and they use this as a guide. So let's look at our first gun. We'll talk about the, this is the M28, all right? The Civil Guard M28 short rifle is what this is listed in the book. Now, it has it in the last edition, the 9th, okay? And it tells you the gun, the barrels, that the two different types of barrels, the SY stamped on there, and this one has the SIG barrel. They don't differentiate between the two barrels. How this gun is listed: fair 250, good 450, very good 600, excellent 750. This, I would go, it's better than very good. Excellent, it's kind of close to it. So it's in the middle there. So you're looking at anywhere from 600 to 750. Now, if I got this in a state, found this, a lot of people, if the gun's screwed up, they'll list everything in excellent. So you see these, they want 750. That's why when you go on the gun broker, that's why when you see these, 750. Now, you can go on the gun broker and see somebody say for this same rifle, they want 1200. Okay, so you got to know what is listed as the going rate, okay? And make your mind up. Do you want to pay the going rate, or do you want to find something a little less? Which, with a little hard work, searching around, you could probably cut a deal and do that. This I bought at an auction, and people thought it was just a standard Russian Mosin M9130. I didn't even really look at it closely. I went to that auction to buy another piece, which that thing went crazy and shot up and, went high. I didn't participate. So I bought this. Now, we'll go back to the older book. Now, the last book, the values for the M28, fair is 250, didn't change. Good was 375. Okay, so that's very good, 5 1/4, so one up $75. Excellent was $650. So from the time this other book was published, about the time I got this gun, about 4 or 5 years ago, these guns were $6.50. And if you could go back in time and remember, you will see that someone goes by this guidebook, and if they get these guns, irregardless whether they paid 50, 100, whatever, they're going to try to sell it for $650. Okay? So that was one way that I made out of this one. This particular gun will go with the M39. Alright? We will get the prices on this one. The M39 is basically listed the same as this. Same grade, same thing. 750 for excellent, 600 for good, 450 for, very good 600, good 450, fair 250. Now these come in two ways. I've seen these like this, really nice. This is excellent, so this would be 750. I was on a gun broker, and there were several of them that are $750. Some people had them down to $675 or something, or right on the money at $7. Okay, and they're in good condition. Now you find some of these where the finish is worn off and white, and like in the white, scratched up, dinged up, and so that I would say is in good condition. It's about a 4.5, but they'll list them at $750. Okay. They had one guy that the gun was screwed up. Somebody made a lamp out of it and bored out the chamber and everything. He still wants $4.5 for it. Okay, so you know that's what you got to look at. Know what you're dealing with. And what was it in the old book? See here again. Ooh, the old book listed it for less, 500 and excellent. The old value was 500 and excellent, 400 very good, good 250, fair 150. So there's a significant price increase in the guidebook. Okay, for this one. This one kind of, it was a little bit higher because it's harder to find. And then this one, so you see the guidebook and a series of guidebooks, a good reference. Now, what am I getting at? I went to a recent auction online, and like I said, most of them, okay, I think one person said as a rule of thumb, you're looking at 40% for whatever the hammer price is. Figure you're going to add 40% for the auction fees, for the sales tax, for the shipping and handling, unless you're there at the auction. I'm talking about these auctions like this. This thing was shipped to me. Okay, I didn't go pick it up. I didn't buy it in a gun store or nothing like that. You have to calculate that in there. Now, why am I saying the prices are coming down? There was an auction, and they had a ton of surplus guns in this auction, somewhere up in Connecticut, I believe. There were all kinds of Mausers. There were older German guns. There was 7184 German rifles. There was a whole assortment of Chilean, Brazilian Mausers, all these things, Argentine Mausers. You know, I was looking at it, and some of them were in fairly good shape. Okay, there was a complete collection of the finished guns. And the only thing I'm missing out, I don't have an M24, which is a 91 with the barrel turn. I just picked up a 25. Is it an M25? Yeah, I don't have the 24. Okay. I picked up an M27. M27. I have an M28. Now, a 2830 is the only thing I'm missing, and I got an M39. So I'm missing two guns, the 24 and the 2830. And I'll have basically a simple representation, general representation of all the finished guns. Now, it's $750 a piece. It's, you know, kind of awful lot of money. And there was 2830, but that thing, how it worked is I was in the pre-bid stuff, and I just put in a low bid. I think it's $275. Okay, and I left it there. I forgot all about it and didn't care. The gun is not in pristine condition. So, looking at that, it could shoot. Again, yeah, that's $750. Okay, so that's what it's saying excellent, but it wasn't. I'd say it's very good. It was a little bit on the beat up side, and I think it's missing a butt plate screw or something. So we're going down between good, very good, but I ain't gonna say fair. So good, very good, 5, 6. So I put that in It was $275. Now it was a 24% increase, and boom, with everything, the transfer, it's going to be $405. So, regardless of the condition, there said there were some spots of rust in the bore, which, I don't know, but still $400, it's in between. Fair is $250, good $5. So, it's about right on the nose, okay? But the key thing is what I looked at, because I did kind of put all these on the watch them, or wish list. So I had about 15, 20 of these guns up there, and then I took a quick check, because for only a day they'll show you what they closed at. A lot of these rifles didn't go over that $300 mark. Okay, and they do, when you put your bid in, they show you at the bottom what it's going to be with the 24%. So you know that in advance. And a lot of guns didn't go. Where I was in similar auctions, where I seen a lot of these firearms, they put a bid of $4 to $5 on, which means you're paying, in the end, well over $600. Okay? So that was a pretty good example, and it looks like people ain't springing the money out. And part of the reason why is the economy, inflation, and our financial times here are bad. Okay, that's what's doing it. Even if they wanted to pay more, they can't. They ain't got the money. Alright? So now is the time, you guys, I really would invest in this book, get an idea what the values are, and that way if you see something like this and you can get it for $5, $4.50, then you know at this differential, or you got an idea what the going market value is, okay, what you should be paying. Okay, and it's tricky, but I am seeing a trend. Because again, one of the go to the gun show and yammer, if you pay attention, you see some of the prices on some of the stuff is kind of curtailing. Then again, there's condition. Just glancing over and seeing like this, but you get one that's beat to hell, and the guy ain't asking 7.5, he's asking 5, but the gun is beat up. It's really worth 3. Okay, so you see that's where you got to use your judgment, but that's how you play the game. And yeah, it looks like prices are going to dip. So now's the time, if you got the cash or can afford it, now's the time to start looking on these auction sites, and also, local gun shows locally. Locally, trying to sell these myself, forget it. Nobody's going to give me the money. Nobody's going to pay it. And the local gun shows, I don't think they're coming down on their prices. And a lot of the guys that really were into this, I noticed, don't have a lot of them coming in or are restocking with it. I know a couple dealers that told me they cannot get these. The people trying to sell them want ridiculous amounts of money. And far and few between anybody even offer them up. The guy told me the used guns, they are almost impossible to get his hands on. So, that's my take on it. I advise you, educate yourself, keep an eye on it, beat the bushes, go to local auctions, keep an eye on these online auctions. Even with the brutal percentages, I just took a shot. I thought this thing ain't never going to go that low. And I ended up winning it. So I don't know. Could have made out, but at that low of a price, okay, even if it wasn't described quite well and it's a little on the beat up side, I still didn't, in my opinion, I didn't go too far with it. Alright, so yeah. Prices are somewhat coming down. It's going to be a buyer's market, and if it gets any worse, as I believe it is, later in the year you're going to see it. When people start hurting, they're going to try to sell their stuff. And what's going to happen when the economy's bad, everybody's dumping their stuff all at the same time for that reason alone. Okay? So it's kind of one of them things. If you're in it, put aside something, be ready to act, and go for it. Alright? Hit the like button, subscribe, and stay tuned.